Hello there everyone, Ashnflash here, and welcome on into a very interesting video. Now I wanted to do this for a while, just talking about some of the things that was cancelled and removed or planned that the designer wanted to put into the LEGO Daily Bugle set that is of course out now. And it was some really interesting stuff that he talked about on a Reddit AMA, and we'll get to that in a second. But today they actually released the designer video, and inside that video in the background they actually have a preliminary model, presumably, of the set. And what's very interesting about that is some of the character choices here that tie into what we're going to talk about, as well as just the whole design of the building. You could see that it's quite different than the model that we actually got. You'll notice it's a lot wider and it looks really wide, and I don't think that it necessarily looks like a skyscraper, if that makes any sense. I think that the version that we got is so much better because of the thinness, I think, of it. It really makes it seem like it's a lot taller than it really is. I think that it's actually one window taller. I could be wrong about that. I think I'm counting 6 there. I could be wrong about that, but I think that there's 6 windows tall, where the one that we actually got is only 5 tall. But what else is interesting is that it has the same number of floors. I think the bottom lobby, though, is shorter than the other one that we actually have. But of course, the most noticeable is that it actually is wide. It actually takes up a full base plate. So instead of having the alleyway, they actually have it going out the whole way. So I thought that was very interesting, just to note that they didn't originally have the alleyway planned. I wonder what the back looks like. And by the way, I hope that they actually do release an official picture for this, because they did that with Ninjago. It looked really cool to see the preliminary versions for that. So I'd love to see that here. There seems to be something bright blue in the background. I'm not sure if that was the elevator there planned, but that's pretty interesting. You could see it through the windows for all of them. But also, the sign there is yellow, and I think that you can kind of make out that there wasn't really a actual bugle build. I'm not sure, but the actual satellite dish tower and all that is very different there. But you'll notice the characters are vastly different as well, and I thought that we talked about that. So some of the characters and designs here that they actually chose, at the top there you can see that Vulture is included, which is very interesting. Going on down, you can see that we've got one of the classic Doc Ocks, as well as you've got Spider-Man on a web, and attached to that web, I believe, is actually Deadpool, which we'll come back to. And then we've also got here Venom, and then you've got Goblin coming out of that window, which I guess was always planned. And then you've also got, I think, down below Scorpion, and I'm not sure who the civilian is on the outside. Maybe that's meant to be Peter Parker still, and we had the taxi cab there as well. But the other thing that I noticed here is that the actual, you know how there's a back balcony there that Black Cat's standing on in some of the pictures on the back of the box? It actually goes up to the 3rd floor, where the official set, it actually has the entrance there into the back on the 2nd floor. So that's very interesting, I think, just to note the differences here. So this would have been a lot bigger and probably more expensive, seeing how there would be more bricks and stuff like that, but they weren't nearly finished. Like you can see, there's no screens or anything. There was none of the actual design elements included here. But let's move on now, I guess, and talk about what was excluded. So originally his list was 60 characters long. Not that he was actually going to include 60, but just that he wanted to potentially see. And he wanted the original Sinister Six, but couldn't make it happen, which is strange. He said that we ran out of new figures we could make, in fact, because it was so minifigure heavy. A lot of the figures from this set were pushed out into the standard retail line. So that's very fascinating. And then anyways, so a few of the names that he wanted to include in the set, though, were Deadpool, the Human Torch, Iceman, Spider-Woman, and all of Spider-Man's buddies. But Marvel also had to agree, and some of the decisions to include or not include figures were up to them, and like I said, others we just didn't have the capacity to include. So that's very interesting there. So sad that we didn't get Iceman along with Firestar. I think that is pretty disappointing, but yeah, I think that it's very interesting. Also, just to mention here, a question was asked: will we ever get minifigures of Shocker, Lizard, or accurate versions of Electro and Rhino? Did you originally intend to include them? And he said he can't talk about the future, but all those characters are great. And something else very interesting that came out of the video today that I just thought that I mentioned, because every time that I don't mention it, I get yelled at and I get comments about. It is the fact that the new Spider-Man figure that we got for this year in 2021, that is actually based off of the 1963 comics. And a lot of people are always saying, it's off the Spider-Man PS4 game, it's the classic suit from the game. No, it's just the game took inspiration from the comics, and it was confirmed here from the graphic designer. Anyways, if you want to check out that video where they actually just show off and interview them, you could check it out here, linked down below. And I'll link the Reddit AMA as well if you're interested in that. And at the end, though, I have a playlist here of all the videos that we've done on the Daily Bugle. We did so many things, fixing the window, combining it with modulars, all that stuff, but I would love to hear your thoughts about this specifically. What do you think of the canceled figures? What do you think of the original design? Because I think that it does change it. It does change the shape of it, and also it just would have been more in line with a actual modular being 32 wide. So I want to hear your thoughts on, do you prefer the alleyway? Do you not? I think that it makes it a lot more special having that alleyway. But anyways, everyone, be sure to subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you don't miss out future LEGO Marvel superheroes news and reviews. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you all have a great day. I will see you all in the next one.